today's chief guest, Honorable Cassie Hughes, Malibu Ocean and Cyber Surfer USA, Professor Caroline Hedging, Department of IMSE IOWA, Dr. Ram Sharma, Associate Professor, Head, Department of English, JVPG College, Bagpat, UP, India. Trisha Chakrabarti, Researcher, Forensic Expert, State President, Women Cell, Think Manavadhikar Sangthan, Jharkhand. Myself, Dr. Gopal Krishna Mishra, National President, Think Manavadhikar Sangthan, India. And many more participate. Celebrate. Please speak.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And it's my pleasure to have. I have invited Professor Caroline Heising, who is herself an epitome of women empowerment. वो खुद ही एक वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट की एक प्रतिमूर्ति है हमारे सामने। उन्होंने मैकेनिकल न्यूक्लियर इंजीनियरिंग में पीएचडी की, जो कि जेंट्स का एक फील्ड माना जाता था। शी वाज द फर्स्ट वुमेन, यूएस वुमेन टू डू पीएचडी इन मैकेनिकल न्यूक्लियर इंजीनियरिंग। उसके बाद वो एमआईटी में रही प्रोफेसर, आयोवा स्टेट यूनिवर्सिटी में प्रोफेसर रही 20 वर्ष। चेरनोबिल ट्रेजेडी हुई रशिया में, उसकी वो चीफ इन्वेस्टिगेटर थी। जापान में जो हुई ट्रेजेडी हुई न्यूक्लियर रिएक्टर्स के साथ, उसमें वो मेन जो दल था उसकी वो करता धरता रही। सो वी आर रियली privileged to have Professor Caroline Heising with us from United States, and it is early morning. It's only 5:50, almost 6 a.m. there. Here it is 7:40 p.m., but it is 6 a.m. in California, Encinitas. So we are really privileged to have Professor Caroline Heising with us. Thank you, ma'am. Being very early, you still joined us around 7:15 our time. I would like to read my poem, which I have written, Feminism. I have posted on my Facebook page. You thought me a spark because I am a woman? Only carry on lightning for everyone, but I am a torch which will burn the chains of blind traditions. The wind can extinguish spark, but not the torch. तो ये उस देश में वुमेन 8 मार्च को हम अंतर्राष्ट्रीय महिला दिवस मनाते हैं, लेकिन मुझे तो साल का कोई भी दिन ऐसा नजर नहीं आता जिसमें महिला का रोल सुबह उठते ही शुरू हो जाता है और रसोई में जाने से लेके शाम रात्रि तक महिला ही महिला रहती है। और हम उस सनातन सभ्यता के पुजारी हैं जहां हमारी जो भी जितनी भी देवियां हैं, लक्ष्मी जी धन की देवी है, दुर्गा शक्ति की देवी है, सरस्वती विद्या की देवी है। उस राष्ट्र में अगर हमें वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट डे मनाना पड़ रहा है तो ये हमारे लिए सोचने का विषय है कि हम अपनी सभ्यता, अपनी सनातन सभ्यता से कितना स्ट्रे हो गए हैं, कितना अलग हम जा रहे हैं। Caroline Heising will tell you what's the meaning of women empowerment in US. But here in our country, when we have made our earth as mother earth, नदियों को माता माना है, पृथ्वी को माता माना है, उस राष्ट्र में ये स्थिति आ गई है कि वुमेन को वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट का दिवस मनाना पड़ रहा है। ये हमारे लिए बड़े ही शर्मनाक एक स्थिति मैं कहूँगा। और इसमें कोरोना ने भी बहुत खराब स्थिति पैदा की है वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट के संबंध में। तो मैंने कुछ लिखा है, मैं जरूर पढ़ना चाहूंगा आपके सम्मुख। द प्रिंसिपल ऑफ जेंडर इक्वालिटी is in Indian Constitution in its preamble. Fundamental rights. The Constitution not only grants equality to women, but also empowers the state to adopt measures for positive discrimination. Economic impacts are felt by women and girls who are generally earning less. This corona crisis has made them pay less. And this has created more problems. We are talking about the women empowerment, but what this corona has done, This has created more problems for the women. Not only they have to work in house, they have to take only women, just a kind of auspicious day, March 8th, but March 7 is also very auspicious because yesterday we celebrated the Mahasamadhi of our Guru, Paramahans Yogananda, who died March 7, 1952 in Los Angeles. And he devoted his entire life for his noble mission of meeting East and West. He went to United States in 1920 at Boston, almost 100 years back. Last year, we just celebrated 100 years of his arrival in United States. Caroline can throw more light upon it. And in 1925, he started Self-Realization Fellowship at Encinitas. And we have several devotees from Self-Realization Fellowship with whom we are working on this project for environment, for women empowerment, for reviving our ancient Vedic culture. Caroline Heising also part of that self-realization fellowship, and her guru is Paramahans Yogananda. By the blessings of Paramahans Yogananda, we are leading forward or marching forward in our path. And we do hope by the help of this Think Manavadhikar Sangthan, we will do more diverse works in diverse fields. I thank Dr. Misra, Dr. Tricha, Cherry Chakravarti, Dr. Caroline Heising, and other prominent speakers and participants. I thank you very much. Thank you very much for giving me the space and time. Namaskar.
We are inviting Caroline ma'am or speak. Caroline ma'am, please.
Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Yeah, ma'am, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ram, for your wonderful talk and your poems. And today I'm speaking about women's empowerment, and I so the United Nations COVID-19 response has stated that we must put women and girls at the center of efforts to recover from COVID-19. The COVID-19 pandemic affects everyone, everywhere, but it affects different groups of people differently, deepening existing inequalities. Early data indicates that the mortality rates from COVID-19 may be higher for men, but the pandemic is having devastating social and economic consequences for women and girls. So the United Nations has released a report about this and is continuing epidemics. Fatalities alone do not fully showcase ways in which women and men are vulnerable to the immediate risks of epidemics, or how they experience the longer-term threats and consequences. Socially prescribed cultural norms, attitudes, and practices in relation to gender play a critical role in how individual women and men are affected. Caring responsibilities, domestic violence, and psychological well-being. Women are often the main caregivers in their homes, communities, and health facilities, which gets them at an increased risk of contracting COVID-19. An analysis of 104 countries revealed that women from 70% of workers in the health, they form 70% of workers in the health and social sectors, and 50% of unpaid from low and middle income countries. Put in place to address the crisis. Domestic violence has increased. Incidences and responses and reports of violence against women within the household have also risen. This points to male psychological distress due to short-term loss. Incidences and reports of violence against women within the household have also risen. Due to the coronavirus, we find ourselves in a time of uncertainty. Real, while often feeling out of control. So in addition, social distancing leads to isolation, loss of our daily routines, and less access to some coping strategies. And this may be more difficult for women and girls, for especially older women. Been divorced. So social distancing during the pandemic may have.
Bed city.
बाकी को म्यूट कर दीजिए सर, बाकी पार्टिसिपेंट्स को.
Women. Hello?
Yeah, ma'am, go ahead.
Okay. So in the time of coronavirus, what can we do to manage stress? And Dr. Ram and I have been promoting yoga. Yoga is one. The Yogananda, and I am a Kriyaban yogi, and I also practice Buddhist mindfulness. So during the pandemic for myself, I have with your inner self. We have had so much time alone, and we've been so isolated that actually that's an opportunity to do more practice of meditation and to deepen your spiritual practice. So that is what I believe as we're coming out of the pandemic in the next 6 months to 1 year. Spiritual practice is growing, and the use of yoga, hatha yoga, and meditation. These are gifts from India, Indian spiritual practice, and that is spreading all over the world. Yesterday, when we celebrated the Mahasamadhi of Paramahansa Yogananda, SRF and YSS, they broadcast all over the world. They broadcast in English, they broadcast in Hindi, they broadcast in all these languages. And so this is growing, the spiritual solution to all of these issues, including women's empowerment. And women will be empowered just like men will be empowered when you embrace spiritual practice. So that's what I have to share with you this morning. And thank you for inviting me to speak. Thank you. Pranam.
Thank you, ma'am, for speaking everything.